Okay, hello there. I hope you're doing great, having a fantastic week, and all set for a wonderful weekend. It's been a beautiful morning here, although looks like the clouds have just started to roll in. This is an interesting time of year. It's people think there's no seasons here. We actually do have seasons, not so many, but we are transitioning from rainy season to dry season now. That means we have more wind than we usually do. It's been a little bit windy and a little cooler than usual in the mornings here most days. Usually we have beautiful sunny afternoons, and some days it rains, and it's still raining. And well, by about a week from now, the rain will probably be gone. That's usually what happens. By around the 7th or 8th of December, it's usually pretty much over. So hello, welcome. Chechu-san, good to see you. Let me change this a little bit. I hate to mess with this. It just makes it a little bit easier to read. Fruit Matrix, hello there. IP Savite, good to see you. Logan, hello there, good to see you. Monte Gray Blue, Fruit Matrix, hope you're having a great morning. Thank you. It's been a busy morning until now, but all well so far. If you'd like to be in the live video, I see some requests here. We can make that happen. The thing to do is to message me a different time. And if you've got a list, we will schedule something. We won't do it here because here I'm just here to answer people's questions. So we can do it another time though. Hello, Logan, good to see you. Ramsey, good to see you. Nature Walk, hello there. All right, Tiona and Seed Time Harvest, Apothecary, good to see you all. And over here on YouTube, Flyer. Hey, Loren, how long after start eating should tickling sensation supposed to stop? Dissatisfaction is the moment the tickles stop, or could it be stomach fullness or unwillingness to eat more? It has nothing to stomach fullness. We do not want to eat until the stomach is full. If we eat until the stomach is full, we've overeaten. Unwillingness to eat more, that sounds like you're forcing it. So no, it's not that either. Yeah, I mean, there's a point of satisfaction, and it's sort of something you're going to have to get used to. But it sounds like you fasted perhaps and don't know exactly how the refeeding is supposed to go. I'm not really sure what's going on. What does it mean if it comes back soon, even less than an hour after I finish eating? I don't know. Maybe it means you didn't eat enough, or maybe it means there's something else going on that you're not interpreting properly. Again, without more information, it's really hard to know what's going on there. Tiona, good to see you here. Christina, good to see you. Francisca Quiros, nice to see you. So, si está llegando ahorita y habla español y no habla inglés, mañana, el mismo hora, voy a estar en vivo en español. Viernes en inglés y sábados en español. Okay. So today it is English. I'll be live tomorrow in Spanish. Mia, good to see you. Hello there. Hope you're doing well. Relica Rootsma, good to see you there. Dalen says, hey, how long does it take to rebuild strength after a 21-day fast? I'd be backpacking Costa Rica solo after refeeding. Is that unwise? No. If you fast with us, by the time you leave here, most people feel amazing when they leave and are able to go do whatever they want to do. Now, if you start out much leaner than average and perhaps relatively weak, relatively low muscle mass, then you're going to be weaker at the end, and it will take you a little bit longer to regain full strength. But most of the time, most people, when they leave here, they feel amazing. And chances are good that you will too, if assuming, of course, you can follow my simple directions. Okay. But yeah, I mean, people leave here and they're able to go do anything. They leave here and go surfing for a week. Anything you want to do, you should have ample energy for. And that's going to be true 95% of the time. Again, those people who are very, very lean, relatively low in muscle mass, they're going to take a little longer to recover. But in that case, it might take an extra week. But that's unusual. Hello, Kate. Good to see you here. Rodriguez, good to see you. Cowboy Swimmer, good to see you here. I hope you're doing well. All right. I hope that makes sense. Where was I? All right, Judy, hello there. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Warren, RCG, no sound. Well, I don't know. It appears everyone else can hear me. I'm not getting messages from anyone else that says they can't hear, so I'm assuming that they can. Let me know if you can't hear me. Okay, everybody else, please. Maybe you can check. Well, you can't hear me, so it's not going to help. All right. Squirrely Raw Vegan, good to see you here. Hey, Kate. Lauser das Zeladon. Lauser das, let's see. That looks like Loren. Loudon. Hello there. Good to see you. Mañana estoy en español. Hoy solamente inglés, señorita. Espero que está bien. Okay. Loren works here in the office and is handling some other things today, so is not in, but is here instead. You can see what's important to her, right? She misses me, obviously. She needs that information. All right, we're going to start off with a super chat, which just rolled in. Jennifer Tremonte has made a $20 contribution. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate that. I don't see a question or a comment. I don't know if there's anything else. If you've got a question for me, let me know. I'll be happy to answer it. That's what usually happens is people have a question they want answered, but I appreciate the contribution either way. If you do have something, let me know. If not here, feel free to email me if you prefer. Okay, let's see. Where were we? Sound works now. Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Boris Davidovich, hello. Hi, Loren. Should one be sexually active till the last days? Your opinion. The last days? You mean until you die? Well, I would say that you should be sexually active until you no longer choose to be sexually active. There's no reason, I think the way to really ask that question, or maybe the way to talk about this, is there's no reason that we should lose interest or physical ability to have sex. So, I mean, if you lose interest in sex, then there's no reason to be sexually active. It's not like it's something you need to do. It is good for you. And there are benefits to sexual activity. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing. I personally can't imagine losing interest, but I know it happens sometimes. So there's absolutely no reason why one can't be sexually active until their end, until they're no longer able to do that. And there's no reason that should happen anytime soon. All right. Does a long-term water fast cure colon polyps, ulcerative colitis? Well, Eddie, to be absolutely clear, a long-term water fast doesn't cure anything because the body's self-healing. But what fasting does when it's done properly is it allows the body the optimal conditions to cleanse and heal, so that anything that can heal will heal as efficiently and as effectively as possible. So we see people with ulcerative colitis all the time. We work with at least a couple people every year, and we turn 25 in a couple months. So we've worked with a lot of people with ulcerative colitis. We see nearly 100% success with ulcerative colitis. Polyps are usually successful. Each case is different. Again, if you fast long enough and do it properly, your chances are dramatically higher. But yeah, I mean, fasting's not curing anything, but the body is self-healing. And so when we get out of its way via fasting, we're able to heal in the best, most efficient, and most effective way possible. Emelita, hello there. Good to see you. Hello, Carolina. Let me see. Did I miss anybody? Probably. Melly. I think that's it. Okay. All right. Kimberly, good to see you. Okay. So we come back over here to some other questions. Where were we? Love yourself. All is very well. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well as well. Skytree Girl says, what are those changing genders with drugs and hormones doing? Isn't it bad? How can they help themselves? Okay. The question is, is it bad for people who are changing genders by using drugs and hormones? I prefer to stay away from value judgments like good and bad. I personally think it's a mistake to mess with our amazing bodies by taking drugs and hormones that can have effects that we may not be counting on. There's always side effects. of every treatment of this kind. There's always side effects. So it's certainly not something I would recommend anyone do. It's not something I would ever do. I had a client years ago who had started this process and had begun to make the physiological shift from male to female. He was physiologically male, but self-identified as female, and then decided it was a mistake and was sort of halfway there. And I think that's a difficult place to be. Personally, I'm very fortunate, I suppose, that I'm quite happy to be male in a male body. And my body may not be perfect, but it's perfect for me, and I don't need to do anything to change it. There will be no surgery to enhance anything. I won't be taking drugs or hormones to make anything bigger, shinier, purple, whatever. I mean, I'm going to leave everything alone, and I'm going to do the best I can with exercise and diet and occasionally getting enough sleep and other things along those lines. We've got a couple more super chats that have just rolled in, so I'm going to take those and I'll scroll back up afterwards. Oh, I see there are actually 3 more here. Love Yourself First has made a $4.99 contribution. Thank you so much. And said, can you talk about your experience helping others heal eczema? How long did they fast? Did they have to do multiple fasts in severe cases? Okay, it's a great question. Eczema is, I think, along with various other skin conditions, are a little trickier in that the skin is just a reflection of what's going on inside. I don't think the skin is really the issue. I think the issue is something happening inside the body. And so the skin will reflect what's happening, which means we'll need to resolve the underlying conditions before we'll see that reflection change on the skin. We do have success regularly with eczema, although not 100%. I mean, some people don't seem to see much improvement. I have a woman fasting here now. This is actually her last day, her 21st day of a 21-day fast. She has been dealing with eczema as one of various conditions, actually caused in her case by drugs, side effects of drugs. And she's no longer on the drugs, but the side effect hasn't gone away yet. And it can be a difficult one to shift in the circumstance. Eczema is caused by lots of things. And so it can be hard to know what their underlying cause is or what the likelihood of healing is. In most cases with eczema, I'd recommend a minimum of 26 days fasting. 26 to 30 days is where we seem to have the greatest results consistently. Sometimes with 21 days. And yes, sometimes with very severe cases, it may take more than one fast. Again, I suspect, among other things, virtually everyone with eczema is dealing with dehydration. And we're going to have to shift the dehydration. That can take a while. We can, during fasting, if one long enough fast, theoretically, we pave the way. We open the door to that being able to be resolved, but it doesn't actually get resolved, the hydration. I mean, most people don't leave here fully hydrated. They leave here having removed the old garbage that was sitting in the body like a giant sponge, making real hydration virtually impossible. Once that's removed, now hydration's possible, okay? But we have to get to that point first. We have to get that stuff out of the body. And so how long it takes and what happens for each person will vary depending on the specific conditions and situation. But yes, we have success. And this is something, I mean, if I had eczema or any other severe skin condition, I would definitely be fasting with supervision, probably for at least 26 days, if not longer. 26 to 30 days is what I typically recommend, depending on the situation. What exactly do you mean by detoxification? Asks Jean-Sebastien Delcourt. Well, detoxification means is eliminating toxins from the body. Our bodies are toxic because we live in an increasingly toxic world. There's toxins in the water, there's toxins in the air, there's toxins in the soil, there's toxins in most food. Unless you've grown up eating exclusively homegrown organic produce, chances are good there's been toxins entering your body from the things you've eaten, from the substances you put on your skin, soap, shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste, etc. Aftershave, each of these substances typically contains toxins. Household cleaning products contain toxins. Commercial fabrics, upholsteries, curtains, rugs are treated with toxic chemicals. stain protectants, fire retardants. They off-gas and put toxic fumes into the air, which we then breathe. We are literally surrounded by toxins, and we have Wi-Fi, microwave signals from cell phone towers, 3, 4, and now 5G, and much, much more. So detoxification is exactly what the word says. It's the process of getting those toxins out of the body. Fasting accomplishes that better than anything else, because we are liberating the body's energy by resting as completely as possible and not consuming food, which is the single most energy using process of the body. The body has a much better opportunity to actually cleanse and heal, to detoxify. And we see this in amazing ways. I mean, this is clear, understood. Remember, the 2016 Nobel Prize for Medicine went to Japanese PhD Yoshinori Osumi for his 25 years work proving that autophagy, which is literally self-eating, this is the body's process of consuming the garbage that doesn't belong in the body to get rid of it, that this happens much more effectively and much more efficiently when we are fasting, or as they say in the study, in the paper, and in science, often in starvation. You know, when we're not actually starving, we're just not eating. We're not starving because we're living on reserves. But that's what happens. That's what detoxification is. I hope that's clear. Krasimir is here. Hello, Krasimir. Good to see you. Thank you so much for your kind contribution of 10 Bulgarian, whatever they are. Hello, Loren. If I come to Tanglewood to do 21-day fast and then travel around Costa Rica, I can find good quality spring water around the beaches where I can fill my bottles. I can't promise that. I don't know, to be honest. You know, I know what we have here. There are springs all over the place, but it depends on where you are. And not all that spring water is available. It's mostly on private land. So I wouldn't necessarily count on that. If it were me, what I would do is I would buy good quality spring water in glass bottles wherever possible when I was out traveling. That's what I would probably do. And of course, I get most of my water from the watermelon, papayas, pineapples, mangoes, etc. that I eat every day. And so it makes it much easier when you don't need to drink much water. Okay. But I mean, I wish I could say to you, yeah, you'll definitely be able to find good quality spring water while you're hiking around Costa Rica. But I don't know if that's true or not. I've never tried to do that. So I don't really know whether that's the case. McLovin says, does portion size matter? Is it okay to eat? It does matter. However, it matters much less when we're eating relatively low-calorie foods like salads and fruit. So even if you eat twice as much salad, you're talking about taking in an extra couple hundred calories or so. You know, one extra brownie is 400 calories. So it's a very different thing when we're living on fruit and salad. You know, let's say I'm eating oranges and I have my 8th orange and feel like that's enough, but I eat one more anyway. I've now overeaten. What have I done to myself? Well, I've taken, it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't want to overeat because we're always burdening the body by overeating, but it's obviously much less of a problem when we're eating things that are relatively not very calorically dense. Okay. We just don't have to worry so much when these things aren't particularly calorically dense. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay. Let's see. Where were we? Kimberly, Eddie, you're very welcome. Hello, Sylvie. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Sherry, nice to see you here. Fruity Healing, glad to see you as well. Wolf Working, good to see you. All right. Red Bulls here, good to see you here. All right. Hello there. Hey, Faccio Quantico, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. I'm thinking it's probably about time for you to get back over here. We were talking about that, I think, sometime recently, or actually, it was actually going to be for this session that we're in right now. We don't really have any space now, but we can take you in February if you want to get here then, or later in the summer if that's better for you. That's the northern summer, I mean to say. Since you're in the southern hemisphere, it's a little bit different. Julie, good to see you here. John, live mindfully nourished. Join, good to see you. Sharpless. Okay. Meg and many others. Let me come back over here to YouTube and respond to some additional questions here. Let me see here. Okay, I'm not starting right on here. The fast is 20. I don't know what that means. The fast is 20. I just got here. What is the 21-day fast? How much? Well, that depends, Nancy. I work with people both here at Tanglewood, which is the world's largest dedicated water-only fasting center. We'll take up to 32 people at a time. And here, 21 days fasting, which is a 4-week stay, is $36.95 US, $3,695 US. Tanglewood is spectacularly beautiful. The climate is amazing. My staff is incredible and takes great care of you. The food is incredible. You know, it's an amazing experience. It's like staying in a beautiful hotel in somewhere in the countryside, but it's, you know, it's like gorgeous here. If you work with me online, I work with people remotely, then in that case, we're talking about $2,000, $500 US per week to work with me remotely. And that's a daily call. It's a 1-hour group call. It is a video every single day to keep you motivated, educated, and inspired. It's an amazing process, and most people really, really enjoy it and refer other people. Okay, Jasmine says, hi, Loren, I've caught the you-know-what and feel like I have the flu and have lost my taste and smell. Any advice on recovery? Well, Jasmine, if it were me, I would definitely be fasting. Fasting is the best way to get out of your body's way, regardless of what's going on, so that the body can cleanse and heal itself. So it doesn't matter what it is. If it were me, that's what I would do. I would fast. I wouldn't recommend fasting. I mean, you're going to need to fast for probably 21 days. That's definitely not something you want to do without having experienced guidance. You have to know what you're doing, how to stay safe, and you know what you need to do. But I can easily guide you. We just talked about prices. By the way, if you come here, we do require you to pay in full before you get here, because we have a lot of expense, a lot of staff, a lot of expenses in having you here. If you're working with me remotely, you can make I think it's a 55% down payment, something like that. And then you can make monthly payments on the balance. And so it's a lot less expensive. I mean, it costs about half as much remotely as it does to come here if price is an issue. And you can pay half of that roughly up front and the rest over time. So it's not so difficult. We've tried to make it as accessible as possible for as many people as possible. Mia says, Loren, I meet people who are not aware about the false notions. How can I help them wake up to the truth? What resources do you recommend? There are tons of videos. Oh, shoot, what's the other one? We actually have some videos on another channel where they don't censor things. And I don't recall now what it's called. I saw something recently. Where was that? You know what? I'm not gonna take the time now. I apologize to look for it. But yeah, because I don't recall where it was, and there's too many places to look now, too many channels where it could be. But there are various places like that, you know. And if you email me, I'll be happy to send you links. There's a ton of information out there today, a ton of it. Unfortunately, it's not widely available because so much of it is indeed censored these days. Okay. Fairby asks, do you have a guess on why we have no fur? Well, I suspect that one reason is that when we began walking upright, we no longer needed to protect anything but the top of our heads, shoulders, nose, etc., from the sun. And being tropical animals, we wouldn't have any need for fur anywhere else except to protect those places, and that we no longer needed those at that point. That's my guess, but I don't really know. All right. Paula is asking, is a 7-day fast enough to get rid of anemia? No, it's probably not. It usually takes longer than that. Skytree Girl says, Sexito is low in fast, so during refeeding it comes back. Yeah, most people are going to regain um, their libido during, while not, if not while refeeding, afterward, because while refeeding your body is still very much in the process, but by the time you're completely done the process, you should have a perfectly healthy libido. That shouldn't be an issue. All right. Some people think that viruses cannot be spread from person to person or from animals to people. Do you agree with that? Well, I don't really know. It appears that they can be, but is that really a problem is the question. I'm not so sure that it is. If the body's healthy, it doesn't matter. We encounter a pathogen, and then our healthy body does what it needs to do, and so it's not a problem. I mean, every single person has been exposed to many of these things. You know, it is being exposed to these things all the time, and yet we don't have an issue with them. All right. What should you eat before starting the fast? You should be eating as close to optimally as possible. Fruits and salads, mono fruit meals, simple grain salads. That's really all we should ever eat. And that's definitely what to eat before fasting as well. Okay, let's see here. Let me see. I'm not sure. Okay, we have some more super chats here. So let me scroll back down. Krasimir is back with a 5 Bulgarian and says, is it okay to drink coconut water instead of spring water? Am I going to hydrate my body by drinking coconut water as well as by drinking spring water? Well, it's different. I can't say if it's better or worse, but one of the differences is that coconut water isn't water, it's food. It contains calories and it contains nutrients. And what that means is that when you drink it, your digestive tract has some work to do. Your body has to be pulling in nutrients, whether you need them or not. It has to deal with those. And so it's not necessarily something you want to do if you don't need it. You know, I personally don't drink a lot of coconut water here because we have amazing fruits, and I really feel like eating once or twice a day when I eat. I don't want to have a liquid meal most of the time. Every once in a while, I'll have a meal of just coconut water. But I don't do a lot of coconut water between meals because it's food and it's making my digestive tract work. My body wants to rest my digestive tract as much as possible. So does yours. The system should be resting as much as possible. And so I typically don't do a lot of coconut water between meals because it's really food. It's good stuff and it's hydrating, but at the same time, it's also working. So if you're taking in nutrients and you don't need them, you're just making more work for your body. Not something I personally would recommend doing. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Ian is here with a 5-pound contribution and says, thanks as always for my weekly inspirational fix. With your help, I've learned that bad food can never taste as good as healthy feels. Exactly. It's such an important idea, and it's a beautiful way to say it, right? Bad food can never taste as good as healthy feels. In other words, you know, we have to make a simple choice, folks. Are we willing to give up the taste of things that we may really enjoy that are harmful to us and make us feel bad? Because there's nothing more valuable than feeling great with my body, where, you know, many people, I have many friends and family members who can no longer use their bodies the way that they'd like to because they no longer function the same way. They've got too many issues, challenges, stuff breaking down, you know, et cetera. Things that have to be replaced, et cetera. That shouldn't need to happen probably ever, certainly not for a long time. I mean, at 60, I feel like a kid. You know, some people think they're old in their 50s or even 40s, and at 60, I feel like a kid. I'm still playing. I'm running around and playing and being physically active. I almost said sexually active, and that's not as true as I'd like it to be. But you know, there's no problem there either. When you know, I'm currently single, so there's not so much of that happening. But you know, there should be no problem with any of these things, right? So there is nothing, absolutely nothing more valuable than feeling great. There's no food that's worth making yourself feel bad and eventually sick when you keep doing it. The problem for most people is, I mean, yeah, you can eat that thing once in a while. You'd probably still be okay. You probably wouldn't be optimal that way. To be optimal, you need to make optimal choices. But if you're making excellent choices and every once in a while make a compromise, yeah, you can still do reasonably well. The problem is not many people can do it only every once in a while. Highly addictive. It's hard for people to stop. That's the issue. Okay, that's the issue. What you want to do is eat as well as possible, meet all of your body's needs as well as you possibly can, as consistently as possible. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right. Ante Kolbanov has made a HRK 25 contribution. HRK. No idea what that is. I'm very appreciative, whatever it is. I thank you. And has asked, how much would cost a cheap and simple house for 2 people in Las Cascadas? Okay, so most of you here probably are aware that I am working with a group of people to create an amazing project called Las Cascadas. Las Cascadas will consist of a nature preserve, an amazing nature preserve. I mean, we have, again, we're losing count. I think we've got around 20 waterfalls, including the 2 highest waterfalls in Central America, but there's probably others that we haven't even seen yet. I mean, just 2-3 months ago, I started negotiating for the first piece of land that contained the 2 highest waterfalls 8 years ago. And we've actually bought those, about a year ago, finally. I mean, we signed a contract several years ago and made some small payments, made the big payment back in February of this year, 2020. What year is it? 2021? 20, yeah, whatever, 2021. We made the big payment. I don't even know what year it is. But it was just a couple months ago, I was standing on that land with the son of the man I bought it from. And he said, by the way, are you aware there's a 100-meter waterfall down here? Well, no, I've never seen that. I mean, there's so much land, we haven't seen it all. You know, we currently have about 1,000 acres, not quite 1,000 acres, 900 some acres that we currently have. And we have probably another 1,000 or more that we have under contract. And we're working towards much more than that. The goal is to create something that's probably 5,000 acres. As much as possible will be nature preserved indefinitely. Part of it will be a permaculture-based organic fruit farm where we'll grow every type of tropical fruit we can grow here. There will be an amazing world-class botanical garden. There'll be adventure sports, including mountain biking and BMX biking and rock climbing and bouldering, and a high adventure park and zip lines and much more. We'll have a fleet of electric quadricycles so people can enjoy, because quadricycles are amazingly fun. I have one here. We need one to get around sometimes, but we have one. Mine is gasoline. We'll have one that is electric. We haven't seen those yet. I mean, I think they're available now, but I haven't actually seen one here. But we'll have a fleet of those where you can rent an electric quadricycle, no noise, no pollution, you know, rechargeable by the sun. There'll be a lot of very cool things going on, and a whole little commercial village where there'll be shops and organic raw vegan eateries, shops, boutiques, juice bar, a raw vegan ice cream shop, a raw vegan chocolate shop, art galleries, so many cool things going on that, you know, yoga classes and schools, permaculture school, green building school, yoga school, massage school. There'll be amazing things happening so that our community members can have meaningful work, can do things that contribute to the world and or make tourist life fun and you know, give them a good time and make a nice living while living in paradise. That's the idea. So to come back to the question, what will it cost to do that? A lot in the community is currently 50,000 US, but if you pay in full now, you can save 20% and pay 40,000. Why are we doing that? 2 reasons. One, we need the funds to move forward. We're on the verge. We've applied for more than 15 grants. We have a partner who will be putting up over $3 million. It's a $22 to $27 million project, but they won't put up the funds until we have building permits. And we don't have building permits yet. We have to survey a whole bunch of land. It's expensive. We need to get green condominium permits. We're working on all this now, and we will succeed because the local government that makes most of these decisions is very much in favor of the project because it's good for the environment. The land that we're in this area, we're in, they want it to be a biological corridor. They want as little as possible to be developed. We'll be developing the smallest percentage of this land as possible. You know, if we wind up protecting 5,000 acres, we probably won't develop 500, less than 10%. That's great, because if the individual owners have their way, they could each develop 50% or more of their land, and it wouldn't be a biological corridor. Our goal is to protect as much of the land as possible. We also want to serve as a model for how it's possible to live on the planet in a way that's actually regenerative to the planet. It's good for the environment. It's good for people. It's good for the local communities. It's good for all the species that live there, etc. So let's say you've got 40,000 in a lot, or 50,000 if you can't pay in full. You can build a small structure for 2 people easily for no more than $25,000 less if you do some of the work yourself. Okay, it just depends. I mean, houses here don't have to cost much. For $25,000, you could probably build something that was 500 square feet. My apartment is about 500 square feet. And, you could build a home this size. I've got a patio here with the kitchen outside. Beautiful. I've got a small little entry patio here, the living room and where I work that you see here, bathroom, bedroom. That's it. What do I need? For 2 people, what do you really need when you can be outside most of the time? You build some beautiful covered space, and that's most of your needs right there. It can be you can build for less than that. I mean, I know people who have, maybe one space that's enclosed. Maybe you want your bedroom to be fully enclosed, and the rest can be basically a covered patio. I mean, the weather here permits for that, living that way pretty much every day. There might be 10 days a year that feels a little cool up here in the mountains. You might want to put on more clothes. But you can still be outside with more clothes on. I mean, it's not that hard to do. So it doesn't have to cost very much. Okay. I hope that helps. All right. Sort of jumping around here with the questions and comments. Let me scroll up over here. Say hello to some more folks here. Do 1010. I'm not sure what that is, but hello there. Good to see you. Kimmer Rose, good to see you. Love you, Loren. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I apologize. Now I don't know how to say your name. I'm not sure if that's looks like a D010101SR, and I don't know what that is or how to say it, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. Fran is here. Hello, Fran. Good to see you. Ridim, Huisi, Michelle, good to see you. Distribuidora Camarada, good to see you here. Huisi says, what if I'm already underweight but still need to fast? Well, we fast underweight people all the time. So being underweight isn't necessarily a problem. It depends, of course, on exactly what the conditions are. So for instance, I fasted a gentleman. You can see videos with him on YouTube, my channel here, 78-year-old back in April, who is 6 feet tall and weighed 101 pounds when he started. Okay, we fast people underweight all the time. We had a naturopath, a woman who's completing her naturopathic degree, amazing woman. Morgan, if you're here, we love you. Morgan was 5'5" and weighed 85 pounds when she started. Okay, that is, what is that, 36, 37 kilos, something like that. So being underweight's not necessarily a problem. We fast underweight people all the time. In fact, what I often find is that people who are underweight, they're underweight because they can't assimilate anything. And they can't assimilate anything because they're filled with old hard waste in their small intestine where most of the assimilation occurs. Fasting properly with me, the way we do it, not the way it's done other places, but the way we do it, we move out pounds and pounds of old hard material. Okay, we see people all the time who fasted on their own or went to one of these other places and they didn't eliminate that stuff because they don't actually do it correctly. Okay, but if you do it with me, you're going to get that stuff out of your body and you're going to be able to gain weight. Some of you here on Instagram know Jeff Juices. Great guy, Jeff. Jeff fasted with us last session after years of trying to get healed through juice fasting and a perfect diet, but wasn't able to, not completely. He left here feeling and functioning better than ever, had a hard time gaining weight. I mean, he was very, very thin when he got here. He left here thinner after fasting 19 days. And he's just now putting on weight. I haven't talked to him since I saw him 6 weeks ago. But I heard from a friend I introduced him to, and she told me that he's now put on I think 8 or 10 pounds, something like that, in just the last few weeks, because he's finally eliminating all the old stuff. I'm guessing finally finished eliminating all the old stuff. Been doing a lot of fruit cleansing and losing weight and still struggling. Well, fasting is way, way more powerful. Okay, listen, let me make a suggestion to you. If you who see or anybody else, if you're thinking about this and not sure, schedule a consultation with me. It's $200. That's not cheap for some people, but I promise you it's well worth it. And what happens in that call is we'll explore your situation, look at what's best for you, figure out what you need to do, whether it's fasting or not, what it is that's going to be best for you, and you'll be able to see. And if you do book with me within 24 hours, guess what? The cost of that call will be refunded to you. So it doesn't actually cost you anything. But I promise you, I can help you regain your health, because that's what happens all the time. Okay. All right, McLevin. Thanks, Loren. You're the best. Well, thank you so much. That's very kind. I appreciate that very much. I really, really do. Fruitstarian is here. You think it's possible to cure herpes with an extended fast? Well, what we see all the time is people with herpes, whether it's 1 or 2, we see them eliminating all symptoms. Now, some people say once you get herpes, it's always in your body. Maybe it is. I don't know. But what if you never have a symptom again? Do you care? What if it's in your body, but it's never a problem for you? Okay. So I don't know if it's actually going to be able to remove it, because they say that once you take in something like that, it's always there. I don't know if that's true or not. But it's common for people to eliminate all symptoms and feel and function better than ever. Amanda Dangerfield is here. Hello, Amanda. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Pranic Fruit is here. Hello there. Good to see you. Amanda says, it's like diseases like cancer run in the family, but I think it's because of people having similar unhealthy diets. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. People think that, that something runs the family. Often what's true is that there's a predisposition in a particular family. So in your family, you might have inherited something, which means if your grandmother and mother and aunts and sisters all develop breast cancer, you probably have a higher likelihood of developing it too. But you still have to do the genetic damage that happens as a result of eating poorly and making other poor choices. It's almost never happens simply because of what you inherited. You can't inherit it, as far as I know, and that's true with most conditions. There are some, of course, that are inherited. There are babies that are born with certain conditions, Tay-Sachs and sickle cell anemia, to name a couple. But that's caused by genetic damage caused by our parents or grandparents. It's still about what we're doing. Okay, some of it's not what we did; it's what our forebears did. But we can change almost everything, because there are very few conditions that are actually genetic. Hang on. I knew that was about to happen. Now you don't know how to get rid of that. There we go. Okay. I knocked my phone over because I knocked over accidentally the cord, the little thing it's plugged into, whatever that thing's called. Trinche, we see here in Costa Rica. I knocked that thing over. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. All right, let's see. Fruity Healing, hello there. Good to see you. Apart from plaque, have any of your clients eliminated parasites? Happens all the time. All the time. I just completed a 30-day fast with a guy. It was his second fast. The first one was 52 days. On this 32-day fast, he eliminated parasites probably at least 10 or 12 days. And some days it was just parasites leaving his body. We see that regularly. It's an amazing thing. Your body's incredible. If it doesn't want these things, fasting is going to be the best way, most efficient and effective way to get rid of them. Hello, Yael. Good to see you. She says almost there. She is on her way here from Brazil right now. I guess probably somewhere at an airport, having changed planes. I know she took off last night. Detox Retreat says, happy to hear you have support from the local government. Absolutely. Yeah, what they see is, first of all, as I said, they want to preserve this land. They want this to be part of a biological corridor. It's a planned biological corridor, and that's completely in alignment with our goals. There isn't much work. Tanglewood is the largest employer in this district, and we've got 15 or 20 full-time employees. I don't even know how many right now, it varies. But we've got, around 15 to 20 full-time employees, plus a whole bunch of contractors working here. We're the largest employer in the district. The project will eventually employ upwards of 300 people. Okay, 20 times more. There'll be a lot more work than there is now currently in this district, in this area. And it's going to generate tons of tax revenue. It's going to be good for all kinds of businesses. Think of all the people who'll be stopping to fill up their gas tank, or to have something to eat, or to buy some fruit on the side of the road, or to get something that they need on their way to and from Las Cascadas. That's going to be really, really good for the district and ultimately for Costa Rica. And they recognize that. They do. So yeah, it's great. Okay. Hello there, folks joining us. Fernanda, good to see you. In Quietude, Sabrina, Rose Daffodil, nice to see you. Katie, glad you're here. Dave Edagian, I think is how do you pronounce your name? I'm not sure about that. Sorry about that. Yummy Tommy, good to see you, and many, many others. How are we doing time-wise? We just have a few minutes left. I've got to go to a group call in just a couple minutes. You're very, very welcome. Again, let me suggest that you schedule a call with me and we can actually explore together. I can almost guarantee you can take your health to an amazing level. It's what happens all the time. We have a couple of people right now who are fasting with us who are quite underweight. Not a problem. Okay, it's not a problem. All right, Logan Forrest Murray says, is peeing several times during nighttime supposed to happen after sipping of water through the day? While fasting, it's bound to happen. When not fasting, it should not happen. It happens to people because the body has a bunch of old garbage in the intestine. Once the system is empty, you'll sleep through the night. Okay. I only pee at night. Typically, the older we get, the more often we pee. I only pee at night if I eat or drink late at night. I'll have to wake up to pee. But if I don't, if I stop eating by 6 o'clock and go to bed at 10 or so, I won't wake up to pee at all. I'll sleep through the night. That's what should happen. That's how it should be. That's what it's always been. You've mentioned you can hurt yourself not doing it properly, would causing an ulcer. Well, it's not so likely you'll cause an ulcer, but I suppose it's possible. We do see people who put themselves in serious danger by getting dehydrated and causing various other issues as well. I mean, I literally hear from several people per week for years now who are asking for my help because they've created problems. Okay, how to improve nerve health? Fasting. We have people fasting right now because of nerve damage. Fasting is the way you let your body heal. It's nature's way of allowing the body to cleanse and heal itself. So supervise fasting long enough and properly. Fast with me. You'd have to go to my website, tanglewoodwellnesscenter.com, complete a registration form so I have all your information. I'll take a look at that and then make a recommendation. With nerve situations, it varies. It depends. Some people need to fast maybe only 21 days. Some people need to fast longer than that. Okay, I've got a guy fasting now for 42 days. I had a guy here last year who fasted with me for 30 days. He was in constant pain for years. By the end of his fast, no pain whatsoever. Okay, fasting is the way we let the bodies heal as efficiently and as effectively as possible. Remember, healing is a biological process. Only the body can heal the body. Fasting just allows that to happen as efficiently as possible. Okay, David says, everything you're saying is true, but it's important to emphasize the psychological aspect of all disease. Very important to do the work on that level, and the body reflects that as well. Absolutely true. Yeah, I believe that. Thank you so much, David. I believe that every single physical disease starts with an emotional dis-ease. Okay, and so Lewis, good to see you. Tommy. So one of the things I encourage people to do here is to rest as completely as possible so that they allow their suppressed emotions to come up and then do the work of being with their emotions so we can let them go. Because when we get to a point of emotional balance, now our bodies are physically going to be healthy. Okay. I mean, as long as we're making excellent physical choices. But if we don't do that work, it's going to be really, really difficult. Okay, we need to work this on all levels. Is fasting just drinking water or fresh juice? We're talking about water-only fasting, Nancy. Drinking juices is not fasting because fasting means the complete abstinence from both calories and nutrients. So if you're drinking juices, you're on a liquid diet. It's an unnatural, overly concentrated, largely oxidized, imbalanced, fragmented, unnatural diet. It's not fasting. And it's not even a fraction as powerful as fasting is. Okay? So I'm talking about actual fasting. Jeffrey Samansky says, what about the lockdown? There's no lockdown here. I don't know what's going on where you are. Anyone can come into Costa Rica. All you need to do is have a plane ticket, a passport. You need to, if you don't have the thing, then you need to buy a specific insurance policy. It's not a big deal. You know, if you're coming into the country I just re-upped mine 6 weeks ago when I came back into the country, and I think it cost me $175 or $185 for 3 months. So, I mean, it depends on the situation, but you know, it's not going to cost you. It might cost you $150 or $200, depending on how long your stay is going to be here. It's not a big deal. Okay, so there's no reason to worry about that. All right, guys, I've got to go. What's your IQ, Loren? Don't know. It hasn't been tested in a while. It's pretty high. It's I was tested quite a bit when I was younger. It's considered very high. All right, guys. It's been wonderful spending this time with you. I've got to get running. I've got to call a group of people that are about to be on a call waiting for me in just a minute. So I hope you have a fantastic week and weekend, and week, I guess, coming in that direction. Hope you enjoy your day. I hope you make excellent choices and take good care of yourself. And I hope you're gentle with yourself no matter what happens. Okay? Always, always be gentle with yourself. I'll look forward to seeing you next week. If you've enjoyed this, I see there are 57 people here and 17 thumbs up. Really? Is that all? Guys, is this good? Did you enjoy this? If you've enjoyed this, please give it a like on Instagram. Please give it a thumbs up here on YouTube. I appreciate that very much. Feel free to share this. There's a link you can share on your channel, on your page, on your groups, wherever you like. And I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Want a day host?
Okay.
10 minutes.